Welcome, apprentices and acolytes to unlock the knowledge, and today I'm gonna take you around the house and talk about all of my favorite Star Wars merchandise I got. Let's go, ready up.
Ready up, my destiny.
Yo, apprentices and acolytes, it's so good to have you here inside the Dark Temple, visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. So the reason why there's been so much content that hasn't been coming out is because, you know, the strikes, man. Everybody and everything is taking note about the strikes, and we gotta understand, man, these writers, these actors, everyone's gotta get paid, fam. And I'm starting to get really frustrated because I think it's so obvious, you know, it's very obvious how greedy everybody is with money, and the fact that so many people are not getting paid, they're not getting what they deserve, is absolutely freaking outrageous, man. You know, and it frustrates me every single day. So please go out and find out more about the strikes and the unions. Please go out there and support the writers, the actors, and everybody else. Please, fam, they literally make all the shit we talk about. So go ahead, support those people. But today I want to talk about all the cool stuff that I got, man. I think merchandise is a really big part of fandom. It really shows your passion when you acquire something that you really love. And you know, that's another thing too. You know, we're talking about money and people getting what they deserve and things like that. And then, you know, you like Star Wars, right? That's why you're here. Star Wars is one of the greatest things ever, right? And then, I don't know, you love it so much, you enjoy it so much that you just decide to get something, buy something. Is it a Funko Pop? Maybe it's behind the scenes memorabilia, you know, something, maybe it's like a piece from a movie, like from the set that you got from production, or maybe it's just a picture that you have of seeing your favorite movie with your family or something. I feel like everybody always has something they really, really love. And I want to go over some of my favorite things that I love. And it's so funny because I'm a big action figure type of guy, right? I love action figures. I love statues, and I really enjoy Funko Pops. But there's other stuff too that I really, really like. And right now, one of my favorite things that I have, which is something that I just got, is actually the 4th anniversary of Return of the Jedi picture. And this was like an official one that they were saying on selling on Bottleneck, I think it was called. And I had to get it, man. There was a Japanese one too that was so freaking cool. But I just wanted the the regular standard one that they had been showing in the theaters. And I got it framed, and I'm so freaking excited about it. And you know, there's a lot of people out there that they get the Star Wars posters from their favorite episodes. And I've always wanted to do that too. I do want to have a room, like a giant room of like Star Wars stuff. Maybe that's where I'll do like the podcast later one day, where I can actually put my face on here and do fun stuff. Man, and it's so cool to show all that stuff. It's a flex, man. It's a massive flex. You're not going to the gym. You just flexing all the money that you spent that you don't have and all the stuff that you've acquired. And I think it's the coolest thing to see where else their passions for Star Wars really takes them, right? Because it is a love, and it's deep inside your heart. And this is like, hey, you know, I'm showing you this. This is what I appreciate. But it's not just, you know, for other people to see. It's for you. It's what makes you happy. And I love seeing other people's merchandise. I think it's the coolest thing about videos and enjoying a content creator, I want to say, and just seeing someone talk about Star Wars is I really like to see their pictures, you know, their Funko Pops. What do they got behind them? You know, what's their backdrop looking like? And even someone like Hello Greedo, who has a very minimalist room and office, but everything is designed and beautifully fits. You know, I feel like it's like architecture, man. It is like art. Someone just really knows what the hell that they're doing. Me, I don't know. I just put shit somewhere, man. I'm so disorganized. I say, yeah, I'm gonna put that there. This is great. Why is the Funko Pop here with a notebook? It doesn't make any sense. That's okay. We don't need it to. I'm just gonna put it up there so everyone else can enjoy it. All right. So the Return of the Jedi poster is freaking amazing because it makes me feel like this is the start. This is the start of where I'm going, right? And it's so funny because I also have the Hobby Lobby stuff that I see every once in a while. And dude, and some of the Hobby Lobby prints are freaking amazing. They are so cool. I have this Darth Vader one that looks phenomenal, man. I also have one of the sequel trilogy ones with the Millennium Falcon, and then the finalizers there, the Star Destroyer, and then Starkiller Base, and then and the black one with Poe Dameron's freaking X-wing man, and all the freaking X-wings. All the freaking TIE fighters are going around there. Oh man, I can't wait to build all of these, right? And I can't wait to put them all there, because I want to start doing it really nicely, and maybe put up shelves. And that's the type of stuff that makes me feel like I really love this franchise, you know, and not only am I talking about it, you know, and really like living into it every single day with my content creation, but it's also just like, yes, you know, this is it, man. This is my identity, bro. This is who I am, expressing my Star Wars on everybody else. But I think also framing pictures, framing posters, takes a lot of effort, man. You know, I think the one person was going to charge me almost $300 to frame this, and that was obviously out of the question. So I went around, looked for a frame that was about the same size, and I did it myself with the assist of my girlfriend, because she's amazing and helps me with everything. So that was cool. You know, not only I did that, but I also conned my girlfriend into doing it with me, which is awesome. So now, and that's the thing too, is like, because I saw this with her in theaters, and that goes a very long way for me. You know, it's not just the parchment, right? The piece of paper that's going to be in there. It's everything, and the memories, and everything that you've experienced, you know. And it's so funny because I'm a prequel guy. I'm not really an original trilogy guy, even though Darth Vader is freaking awesome, and I love Luke Skywalker and everything. There's so many great things about the original trilogy, man. It's just, I'm a prequel person. I don't have like Revenge of the Sith, which is like one of my favorite movies, but it's something about enjoying the experience with someone else, or something. It means something to you more than it means to everybody else, and that's why it becomes personal. That's why it becomes a passion, and that's why you love it. And that's how I feel about this Return of the Jedi poster, man, that I really love. And funny enough, you know, now because I work with Cubic Pictures, and I've always loved animation for so long, and now I have the Star Wars Vision stuff, I want to get more stuff like that. That's something that seems like it's attached to me in some way. It's an extension of me. And funny enough, I have this, I don't know if you guys can hear the plastic, you probably can, but I have this Rise of Skywalker popcorn bucket, okay? And this thing is still unopened, and it's all red, and it's not plastic, dude. It's like tin or something, and it's Rise of Skywalker. I think there were two. I think there was Rey and Kylo Ren, and I got the Kylo Ren one, and it's got all the Knights of Ren around it, dude. It is so freaking fly, man. It is so sick, dude. And this is one of my favorite things too. You know, I don't know, man. I just love the aesthetic. I instantly had to get it. I have the Last Jedi one as well, because The Force Awakens, I don't think they were really going ham with those things. I have the Last Jedi one, but it's nowhere near as nice in quality. I think this one is plastic. Yeah, it's definitely plastic. So that's really cool. But the Rise of Skywalker one is awesome. Oh man, it's so sick. Okay. All right. Let's go to where my backdrop is, slowly but surely, and we'll get into it. Okay, so if you guys had seen, I just opened up the Rancor flat, which is the cups that you get at Batu. And then I also have a bunch of tiki cups. I love collecting Star Wars tiki cups, but I can't really call it collecting, because I use them as well for like drinks and stuff. And I'm gonna use the flat as well. I just like acquiring these things, you know, making every single aspect that I can in my life about Star Wars, or some form of Star Wars. You know, can I drink Star Wars drinks? Can I eat Star Wars food? I get a little too into it, I guess, but it really makes me happy, and that's why I enjoy it. And I can't wait for football season to start, because I'm definitely going to use the Rancor flats. So that's really cool. Those are definitely some of my favorite things. But if you had to tell me like what my all-time favorite thing was, sorry, I sneezed. If you had to tell me what my all-time favorite thing was, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's the Thrawn's Chimera, the Star Destroyer, which is really cool, that I got from X-Wing, and then of course as well the Imperial Super Star Destroyer, which is amazing. I love that thing so much. The Executor I have as well, which is these are replicas that come from the Star Wars X-Wing game. I was given the Dark Saber, so that's gonna be some political issue, I guess, right? Because I was given the dark saber from Mandalore, and I was given it by a friend who I met, who's an online friend. I know them because I used to work with them, and I helped get them affiliated and partner with the previous company that I went, and they're awesome people. And they gave me the dark saber, and it's probably one of the coolest freaking replica lightsabers that I got. I have Obi-Wan Kenobi's and Kylo Ren's as well. They're practically flawless in design. And I'm literally just listing things now because I just don't know what is my favorite. I care about all of them. And then I also have a holocron, okay? And what was this might be one of my favorite things, okay? What is incredible about this one is because the holocron comes with the Legends book, Book of the Sith. But even though this book is Legends, there is still so much incredible knowledge that can be used in canon today because they just haven't rewritten that or haven't written over it. And that's what I love so much about this damn holocron, because when you press the holocron, it opens up. And then what comes out is a crystal, a star compass, and the Book of the Sith, man. It is freaking insane, dude. Especially like back then, I didn't know these things existed, right? I think Etsy and people do these things now and they can get really creative, especially with all the cosplayers are so talented. But this is before all this stuff, man. And this was like right after I got homeless. You know, I found this thing, I got this thing, and it was one of the only ones. I don't even know if you can still get these, but they're all really cool. And, you know, they have the Bounty Hunters Guild, the Rebel Guide, Path of the Jedi, Book of the Sith. And, you know, every single version of those books has something unique and fun. But this, the holocron, oh my God, it's so cool. Because just like I was talking about in the past couple episodes as well, where it's like, you see a lot of the merchandised holocrons, and they're all the same. They're all the same shape, same scale. This one is, in my opinion, is a little bit more realistic of what a holocron would look like. Obviously, it's plastic on the top, and it's got electronics inside of it, but still, I think the idea of what it is and how it's executed perfectly, which the gifts inside of it, oh my God, man. That thing is so freaking cool. I mean, but that's the thing too, though, is like, I have the Wayfinder now, and the Wayfinder is awesome. I love the damn Wayfinder, and how Disney packages the Wayfinder, I think is also fantastic, man. Like, they should be doing more of this stuff that is very authentic, right, to how it's supposed to look inside Star Wars. So we have the Kintomo, of course, which is the ice machine that we see that is given to Mandalorian with all the Beskar armor inside of the Kintomo. And I got that as well because I want that to go along with my Halloween Mandalorian suit whenever that happens in 10,000 million years when I can afford it. And I want to use the Kintomo as like a little hub where all the candy is coming out, so I give the kids candy. And I've always wanted to do that, and that was always the idea. But it's stuff like that where every single thing or piece that I get is going to go with something else. And so I've always really enjoyed that, man. I thought that was sick as hell, you know, especially Kintomo and the Wayfinder. Like, these are all things where they do such a great job of making it look like it's inside the universe. And I hope that they continue to do that. They continuously surpass their previous limits and step up their game, because that is awesome. That's how you do it. I also have the Art of Star Wars Rebels, which is so cool. I don't know if you guys can hear this, but when you turn it on, yeah, the lightsaber noises go, and the box actually has lightsabers on it. And when you open up the box, the lightsabers ignite and they make that lightsaber ignition noise, which is so damn cool, man. Every time I do it, I probably got to make more TikToks about them, because I don't think people really understand that these things exist, you know, especially if there's fans, because so many people, you know, they didn't get as lucky as me, you know, and I don't really see I do see myself as like a very lucky person who's able to live the way I am right now, where I do have some money in my pocket, you know, where I can buy some things every now and then. I'm not like fearing for my life like I was when I was homeless, you know, so not being homeless anymore really makes me appreciate all these little things like being able to eat, you know. And I'm not even joking, man, because there was a lot of days when I was homeless where I didn't freaking eat. So the fact that I have these things, like, I know that there's people out there that don't know these things exist, And that's why I like talking about them and showing them and making videos about them, because maybe they really love it. You know, maybe they want it. But then there's also the FOMO part too, where someone's never going to be able to get that for some time. And that's really sad and depressing. But you know, I can't think about those things, because then I'm going to get sad and I'm going to get depressed. But man, this all the stuff, like when you really think about it, and the franchise and everything that's going on, like it makes me very appreciative. You know, I'm very thankful to be able to have these things now, because that's one thing. You know, you see everyone else like get something, or they're able to go to this place and go to this con and go to this movie shoot. You know, they get invited to these things, and I think it's very easy to try to measure yourself and be successful with everything else that's going on, and compare yourself. And I think comparison is often, what do they say, the thief of joy? Something like that, right? And I think that's very true, because it's very hard for you to like take a deep breath, look yourself in the mirror, and really appreciate who you are when you're constantly being reminded that you're not good enough, because that invisible bar, that invisible whatchamacallit, that invisible limitation, or something about the way that you have, that this is you, and you need to be successful at this moment in time, and you're not successful unless this happens. And I know for a fact that there's a lot of people out there that do that, including the people that are listening to this podcast, including the person that is talking in this podcast. And I think at the end of the day, man, you have to look at yourself and just, you know, you're doing a great job. It doesn't matter what you do have or don't have, man. You're here, and a lot of people aren't. So let's freaking go. Go get those Funko Pops, man. You enjoy it, dude. You deserve it. You only got $12. You know, you want to get a freaking Funko Pop. Oh my God, that reminds me of, did I tell you guys the story? I don't know if I ever told you guys the story. And it's a Black series. Yes. Okay, so let me tell you. So now we're talking about this, okay? And I just talked about how, you know, if you have like $12 or whatever, and you know, and you're feeling not too great, and you want to get something for yourself, you know, treat yourself, you know, because you need to be appreciated. You need to feel that goodness, okay? You deserve it. And I remember this was before I moved to Orlando, and I was a very, very broke boy. All right, I was still very broke, okay, because I was still learning how not to be homeless. And I want to say the thing was, and by the way, when I say homeless, I wasn't like on the fucking streets, you know, where it's like absolutely terrible and I'm dying every day. But I was homeless, but not to the extent of like that. I didn't have a place to live, and it was very hard. I sometimes I barely eat during the day, and I didn't have any money. But there were still other homeless people that were in a much worse spot than I was. You know, I was homeless, but it wasn't really as terrible as like the actual definition of homeless. Okay, so I want you all to understand that. But I remember kind of getting culture shocked, like being back and, you know, being able to plug my phone in and being able to eat and have air conditioning, you know, because that was also hard, was like realizing I could eat 3 times a day, 2 times a day, you know, and my stomach had so many problems. Jesus, yeah, no, I always remember that. But I remember walking down the street, and there was a Walgreens, and I would always go down this Walgreens. And if you don't know, Walgreens often has Funko Pops and sometimes Black Series, which is the action figures for Star Wars. And this was around the same time Star Wars Rebels was ending. And I think it was like the final season with Thrawn, and you know, I think Kanan had just died. And I remember I was really starting to appreciate Ahsoka more, because I didn't grow up with Clone Wars, and it took me a while to really appreciate who that was. And I saw Star Wars Rebels, and Ahsoka was a badass. And I was like, damn, bro, like white lightsabers, you know, tendrils, Leku, whatever you want to call them, bro. They are all coming at you, and she's just hitting you with the Force. And I was like, okay, Ahsoka's pretty awesome. I really like this character. And then I dipped into Clone Wars, and then I saw everything from there, and the Mortis arc, and where she was, and then her leading the Jedi Council. And so I started to really bond more with Ahsoka. So I would go over to this Walgreens, you know, looking for Funko Pops, because I wanted a Thrawn Funko Pop or something like that, because big boy Legends community, let's go. And I saw this Ahsoka Black Series there, and it was of her Rebels, where she had white lightsabers. And I was like, wow, that's pretty recent. I can't believe that. It was like $26 at Walgreens. And so I every time I would go there, I would check. And this was like after months, 3 months, 6 months, an entire year until I started to realize, I was like, wow, that Ahsoka is still there. She's just, no one is buying her. And I also found Anakin Skywalker Funko Pop from Revenge of the Sith, where he's got yellow and red eyes, which is, of course, Anakin Skywalker is my boy. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite freaking movie, so I bought that one too, right? And I was like, you know what? We're gonna be moving soon to Orlando. If Ahsoka is still there, I'll go and buy her. And I remember I was like really down before, like it was just a really tough week. And I forgot that I had said that. And I just was walking down the street, like looking at everything before we had moved, because I was really scared about moving. And I went back into that Walgreens, and I just, I always like, I'm on autopilot, and I'm always just checking to see if there's anything Star Wars. And I was looking around, and I noticed that there was a whole bunch of new Black Series characters there. And I was like, oh yeah, didn't this place have an Ahsoka? And so I was looking around, and I didn't see her there. And I was moving around all the boxes until I realized that all the way in the back, all the way in the back of the shelf, completely obscured from everything else, just removed completely as if she was hidden, Ahsoka was still there. And so I was like, dude, F it. I only have like $20. I don't know if I can buy it. The sticker still says $26. So I go to the front. I'm like, yeah, I want to get this. How much is it? And then I go and get it. And it's like $6. Ahsoka had been there so long that it was literally $6. They had discounted her so far. The person was like, dude, this has been here for so long. There was like dust on it and everything. So it had been forgotten for a very long time. And so I picked it up, and that was the last thing I bought there. And then I moved the next day to Orlando. So that Ahsoka, that piece of Ahsoka, I want to say that Black Series, which I still have here inside the box, because because my apartment is so small, so I don't have all these places to move my stuff. That is really big for me, because I just appreciate how it was still there. And I don't know if it's that is like something to do with like hope, or never giving up, I just really appreciated that. And I think that's why I end up caring more now for Ahsoka than I did during Clone Wars era, where I just saw her as like a little girl with a lightsaber. I think Ahsoka is kind of an embodiment of hope and the representation of the light side, especially with that Ahsoka video that I just did. Ahsoka is a very special character, and I think she's one of the more important characters inside the Star Wars universe. And, beyond merchandising, beyond Funko Pops and pictures, framed photos, and things like that, there's something about these characters that will stick with you forever. Anakin Skywalker, especially in the prequels, was always, to me, is the character that was getting made fun of by everybody else. And because there were so many parents who were older than me that didn't understand Anakin, that made me feel like Anakin. I was not being understood, and I was being pushed away. Kylo Ren, his problem with his family, and how he was being deceived by other people around him, who were ultimately giving him attention and affection, but they obviously were deceiving him and didn't actually care for his well-being. They were just using him. These are things that I appreciate that Star Wars gives me to like these characters. Same thing with and the big thing with Ahsoka is like, Ahsoka is so different from everybody else, where she left the Jedi, and she had to go do this stuff on her own, which is very similar, funny enough, to my story and how I ended up homeless. And then you see Ahsoka return with her lightsabers, white lightsabers that were bled, and I feel like it's like Gandalf the White. It's almost as like a phoenix rising up again. It's a rebirth, some type of spiritualization. Because that's the whole embodiment, right? That's the whole representation of what the light side of the white crystals are supposed to be, that every single piece of darkness has been purged from that kyber, and that's its new identity now. It is pure, right? And I've always loved that, and I think that with Ahsoka and what she means to the Star Wars franchise, she's like one of my more favorite characters now because of that, and of course, you know, that story about finding those Black Series, man. But I hope you all enjoyed this. Maybe there's something that you all enjoy about Star Wars and merchandise. Hopefully you got a story to tell about your stuff, or maybe you just love it. Let me know in the comments below. I would love to freaking hear that stuff, because at the end of the day, no matter what, you're coming into the Dark Temple, visited by Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, and Kyle Katarn, and so many of the Force sensitives like yourself. I am Lord Dagovere, and I'll see you around, fam. Deuces.